wanted to say, and it's kind of great that I was afraid that you were kind of like, you know how it is, you've already covered a topic and then somebody wants to talk about it 2 or 3 days later. But the Vegas show, I watched it all the way through. Jen?
Which one? You mean Access Vegas?
Access Vegas.
No, we could talk about that, honey. We could talk about that all month long.
Yeah, that one, Jen, I saw the first part of your show last night where you were saying, hey, I kind of thought it was a racial thing, blah, blah, blah. And at first I was like, oh, is Jen being a little bit too sensitive? And so I watched it all the way through, backed it up, replayed it, blah, blah, blah. No question about it. It was racial, especially the comment where he said, I've got some toilets for you to clean. And I thought, oh, fuck. I was like, why don't you just come on out and call her, you know?
Right.
And I was like, and my biggest disappointment was Michael Sartain or Sartain, whatever his name is. And
Michael Sartain.
Did not fucking check him on that. And Rolo and Michael, if you're listening to this, you two are a bunch of pieces. You two are douche nozzles for not doing it. You fucking called her out and for not doing something, and you didn't do anything to him. So, and at the end, I figured out what the fucking problem was. They're going on his show. So they were sucking his dick, is what they were doing.
Go ahead, George.
Him fucking do what he wanted.
Go ahead, George.
Yeah, so, I got, as you can tell, I got upset because I don't like to see fair play. Because when it first started out in the beginning, you know, you made your comment that you make here all the time about the feminine energy and all that. Yeah. And then he comes back at you, and then you said, hey, you know, and then he started ramping it up. And Jen, I'm going to say this. I think he was trying to set you up for a Donovan Sharp moment.
Okay.
I think he could have been looking for that, hoping that you would break down, lose your cool, and go off on him, really go off on him. And I was thinking, good girl, you held it back. In fact, you didn't, I mean, I was really just thinking about it now, how unfairly I thought you were treated there. That just bothered me. Just really fucking bothered me.
Well, thank you.
I'm not trying to, you know me. I'm not up here to kiss your ass or anybody's ass up here. I know right's right, wrong's wrong. So, and Haran, you made a comment a while back about Rolo making racial comments and stuff. And I was kind of like, where are you getting that from? And then I saw it on that show. He made the comment about there's 2 women here wearing hoop earrings. And I noticed it was one. And I was like, what's he talking about here? Was it the black girl sitting next to you? Was the other one?
I don't remember who else had hoops on. I really don't remember. There were so many women in there. I couldn't tell you what any of them were wearing or whatever. But first of all, thank you for that. Thank you. And thank you for also acknowledging that I kept my cool. I could have went off. And it's obvious all them guys are in bed together, which is fine. I don't care. You know, I could hold my own, whether it's here or elsewhere. Right. But it was a very racist statement. And had I clapped back, you know what I mean, it would have been on me like, oh, look, she's being racist. Because, you know, that's the game these men play here, which is a great segue for tonight, you know, feminine versus masculine, because I've been accused of being masculine, and I'll get into that whole spiel. But you know, thank you for acknowledging that, because you're right, George. I'm not sensitive about race. You know, I'm very brutally honest about race, all race and ethnicity. I've always been that way. But when I started realizing you're not the only one, other people started contacting me about that statement. You're not the only one. I got DMs and they were calling him racist and all kinds of things. And I was like, wow, was that racist? But what I said on Access Vegas was the absolute truth. He's a peon to me. I know he thinks his tax bracket makes him, you know, muy macho. But, you know, I'm very good at removing material things from somebody and just breaking them down, you know what I mean, to the smallest frame, and the whole time the energy he was giving me was very feminine. And we've seen feminine guys appear before, and we see how I react to them. But I really did see him as a peon. I know they were sucking him because, you know, he's a millionaire according to him, and they wanted to be on this show. And everybody's really chasing, like, clout is a hell of a drug. Forget cocaine. Clout is a hell of a drug, where you do see men acting like female groupies. Like, they treat certain people in these YouTube spaces like they're rock stars, and they are the groupies waiting backstage, shaking their tits, waiting to suck a nut. That is how these men are acting on these spaces. That's why I say the social media is the effeminization of the new modern man. It is not the LGBTQ. It is clout. It is the drug of clout. And you can see men that you would think could hold their own, say like a Michael Sartain and a Rollo or whatever, and they'll be sucking a guy like that and checking me, although he was the racist one. Now, I did see Rollo was like, oh, hey, you're going to get me. He made a mention. I don't remember verbatim, so I'm going to paraphrase. But after he said that statement, and he said it twice, I did see Rollo say something along the lines of, you're going to get me canceled or shut down or whatever. So that tells me that Rollo knew that the guy had went too far. But, you know, you're going to suck the biggest dick in the room. I don't have 4 million followers. Not that Adam has them either, because he lied. He's a sidekick on Valuetainment. It really belongs to the other guy. Right. But, you know, I didn't know him from a can of paint. That was the first time I set eyes on that man. And then after you get the DMs and, you know, the comments like, oh, Jen, that's such and such from such and such. Lily was like, I knew he looked familiar. That's the guy from blah, blah, blah. There's YouTube, and then there's the real world. And I didn't know that man. I didn't know the clown sitting next to me in the Tony Montana suit. I didn't know these guys, but they think because they're popular online, everybody knows them. I had no clue till after, but a lot of people did hit me up. So I felt like, even though that didn't offend me, because, you know, you have to be somebody I respect or love to really, really affect me deeply when you say something derogatory. If I don't know you from a can of paint, if I think you're a peon, if you're giving me feminine energy as a man, nothing you can say is going to penetrate. However, you know, I did have to say something for the people that were Latin and were offended. And the women that, you know, contacted me and were offended, and my male friends who were offended by what he said. And that's why I'm addressing it. Not because it affected me, but just because it didn't affect me, it would be unfair for me to ignore it, because people were offended. It was a very racist statement, very racist, without a doubt. And he knew what he was saying, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's why I was saying, when he said that, and I got to thinking about it, and I said, you know, he would never admit it, but he probably watched a few of your shows. He probably saw the whole Donovan Sharp and the lead attorney thing. He probably saw all that, and he thought, I'm going to provoke her, because he was like going out of his way to take you on. I was like, you're sitting over there being quiet, and he says, and I want your number and your number, and well, I don't know about your number,
right?
You know? And I was like, what the fuck, dude? You know,
yeah, and he was targeting me, and you know, a lot of people said it. People I respect in this game, they were like, he was obviously intimidated because he kept bringing it back to me, and I wasn't letting him get over it. But I wouldn't be shocked if he watched my show before. I don't have 4 million followers, but people know who the fuck I am. Not only that, he was in bed with the so-called Donovan the Sal Sharp as well, and now he's beefing with him. So these guys, you know what I mean? It's like these guys know who's who, though they would deny it. That Adam character even went to my channel while he was on air, you know, on that show, to go to my channel. So yeah, he was definitely targeting me. But listen, I could dish and I can take it. But I did feel bad that people were reaching out to me about that statement. And Rollo and Michael did let them slide. Now, Rollo and Michael have never disrespect me to my face. Now, of course, they talking shit behind my back. We do the same thing, though, so I don't care about that. However, the hoop earring thing, I do recall Rollo saying on past shows, the bigger the hoop, the bigger the hole. Now, on that night, he did say 2 women have hoops here. And if you remember, I asked him, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I asked him, what does that mean? He didn't respond. Because had he responded, then I would have replied. But I did ask, what does that mean? He didn't respond, so I kept it pushing. But I went there because I was invited not once but twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I tell you what, I hope they've got enough character to invite you back, and I hope they have enough of character to apologize to you. for on air for the way they treated you or allowed you to be treated. And you know, the thing was, Jen, I know I've never met you face to face, and as best as it can be in this relationship here, I consider you my friend. Okay. And I hope the same is from you. But and so it was like when I see my friend being jumped on, it was like, you know, there's some things that I saw you do on there that off camera, I'll tell you, hey, look, next time I saw this, don't walk into that trap. You know, kind of thing. But you know, that's for a topic for another day. But yeah, and No Saint and Haran, I guess Haran, it was a good thing you were asleep. Because I remember you were talking about you slept through a lot of it. Because the parts I saw, I don't know how you could have kept yourself together, dude. I would have been out there.
Actually, when she went off, that's when I woke up because it was extremely boring prior to that. And when it started getting heating, I told her, I said, I knew it was coming. I knew he was going to say that because that is the de facto response when a lot of white men are being attacked or they're being chin checked too much. They go to race because that, and within that method, it's to remind the other ethnicity or the other gender that you're here and I'm here. So it was never a shock. Right. Go ahead, No Saint.
No, I was gonna say it's also an easy button push. It's not that hard. It can be, not to Jim, but it can be a scab that you can peel off rather easily to some people.
Right.
Yeah.
And to your comment, George, about them apologizing, that's not going to happen. They might invite her back, but that's not going to happen because they're a slut to their chat. So they have to, you know, appease their chat, and their chat is all about attacking women. Right. Yeah. So to apologize to a woman in front of them is, I doubt very seriously that's going to happen. They're not just a slut to their chat, but they're a slut to their peers.